In Christ's Object Lessons, I quote, "The coin, though lying among dust and rubbish, is a piece of silver still. Its owner seeks it because of its value. So every soul, however degraded by sin, is in God's sight accounted precious. As the coin bears the image and superscription of the reigning power, so man at his creation bore the image and superscription of God. And though now marred and dim with the influence of sin, the traces of this inscription remain upon every soul. God desires to recover that soul and to retrace upon it his own image in righteousness and holiness." The woman in the parable did not stop looking until she found that coin. It might have been under the bed covered with dust. She took a broom and swept. She pulled out every dust ball. She probably placed the lamp over every speck of dust until finally she saw something shiny. At last, she found that valuable piece. In the family of God, if one member is lost, we must do everything possible to find them. Heaven rejoices over one that was lost and is found. The woman rejoiced and called her friends to celebrate with her when her valued coin was found. As I was preparing this sermon, I felt ashamed that maybe somehow I may have contributed to a coin getting lost. Have I carelessly lost one? I recall many times when I was so distracted that I walked past a sister or brother without acknowledging their presence. Maybe it was that one time when all they needed was a hug. I have purpose in my heart to take notice no matter how busy I get. I remember times just walking out there in the hall and I would see someone and it was my intention to say, "Hi, happy Sabbath." But I have something on my mind that occupied my whole psyche, and I just went on past them. And there were times when I would turn back and say, "Happy Sabbath," and give a hug. And I know in the minds of people they're saying, "What is the matter with Joan? She did not even say hello to me." Sometimes I think I have ADD myself. I self-diagnose, But maybe that one time when I went past Camille or Monique or any of the ushers out there or anybody without saying hi, there's something on my mind. It's not because I didn't notice you, I saw you. Like I would see people and I would just walk past because I have to get done what I'm about to get done, Then on my way back, I might stop. And sometimes I forget to stop. So forgive me if I have done that to you. No one can estimate the value of a soul. Because of his value for all souls, the true shepherd leaves 99 to search for one. More than 2,000 years ago, in the Garden of Gethsemane, Christ spent hours in anguish, sweat drops of blood, uplifted on a cross, cried, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" He felt that separation from his Father. See his wounded head, his pierced side, his marred feet. Christ risked it all for the redemption of all. He would have done it even for one. I'm going to read Isaiah chapter 53, verses 3 to 7. He was despised and rejected by men. I'm reading from the Amplified Version. A man of sorrows and pain and acquainted with grief, and like one from whom men hide their faces. He was despised, and we did not appreciate his worth or esteem him. But in fact, he has borne our griefs, and he has carried our sorrows and pains. Yet we ignorantly assumed that he was stricken, struck down by God, and degraded and humiliated by him. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was crushed for our wickedness, our sin, our injustice, our wrongdoing. The punishment required for our well-being fell on him, and by his stripes, his wounds, we are healed. All of us like sheep have gone astray. We have turned each one to his own way, but the Lord has caused the wickedness of us all, our sin, our injustice, our wrongdoing, to fall on him instead of us. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth to complain or defend himself. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that is silent before her shearers, so he did not open his mouth. If we are truly in communion with God, if I am truly in communion with God, I will be able to win, not drive away, to attract, not repulse. He died not just for me, but for all of us. Christ was treated as we deserve, that we may be treated as he deserves. He was condemned for our sins in which he had no share, that we might be justified by his righteousness in which we had no share. He suffered the death which was ours, that we might receive the life which was his. By his stripes we are healed. That's Desire of Ages, chapter 1. See, the ground is level at the foot of the cross. Wherever we may be, there's a lost coin waiting to be found. Are we seeking for it? Some of us may have wealth and some not. But Christ died for each one of us, the rich, the poor, the ugly, the beautiful. However we see people, Christ died for each and every one of us. If you are feeling like a lost coin, find peace in Zephaniah 3:17, knowing that God sings over you. He has given me a responsibility to find you. But if I fail at my responsibility, have no fear, he will send someone else. That's telling me we all have a responsibility. And sometimes we fail at it because we can't be bothered. Maybe we're just too lazy. But he will push you out of the way and he will get someone else to do that job. Be comforted in knowing that the Lord your God is in your midst, Zephaniah 3:17. The mighty one will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you with his love. He will rejoice over you with singing. Isn't he wonderful? I can just imagine heaven singing over me, singing over you, JP. Every time you walk into his house, heaven is singing over you. What a wonderful thing. Just knowing that makes me feel elated, makes me feel that no matter what anyone thinks about me, whatever I may be going through, when I stick with it and stay with God, heaven rejoices over me with singing. So no matter what situation you're in, sometimes we mess up and we mess up bad. And we're afraid to come back into God's house because the enemy is saying, don't go back there. They'll look at you funny. He's saying, you should feel guilty. God doesn't want you. Lies. You keep coming back and coming back because he's going to meet you where you are. And he's going to work on you and work with you. And heaven will rejoice and sing over you. God bless you all.